One team, Nate, that has led wire to wire in these playoffs happened in that game one. Phoenix and Dallas. The Suns handily basically won that game, coming out to a 22-7 lead off the jump. And yeah, that's only the third time I believe that's happened this playoffs, even though that seems like a good bet in that Miami-Philly series, minus 104 for neither team to lead wire to wire. Maybe in this Phoenix-Dallas game, you don't feel quite the same. I know that over definitely surprised us a bit and definitely has us changing our minds, as we are never too arrogant to admit when we were wrong and then go ahead and about face so that we can still make some money here. This is not a presidential election. We are allowed to flip-flop. So we are going to continue to talk about the total, maybe from a different angle. But now we've got a -6 line here as well in game two for Phoenix. So where do you stand on that? Since we know we might be looking at a bit more overs in this one, do you think that Dallas does have a chance?
I think Dallas will do a better job, playing of defense and keeping it close. But yeah, I do like the over, just based on the fact that Phoenix, when they're flexing their muscles, just like the Bucks did in the second round, to say, we're trying to go back to the chip here. They do it on offense, and it was incredible balanced scoring. Exactly what we thought coming into this series is that what Dallas tries to take away, Phoenix does really well. That's why they've now won 10 straight over this team. And Phoenix, with Booker looking pretty healthy, that's a huge difference in terms of how you're going to bet the total. Yeah, I mean, Book had 28 points, I believe, nearly a triple-double, opening things up for everybody, all 5 starters in double figures. They shot 50% from the field or better for a 7th straight game now. And the pace relatively high for a Mavs game, I guess 94.
Yeah.
And the reason you like the over is just because Luka's still in God mode with 45 points on a 43% usage. I told you it reminds me of his first 2 playoff series against the Clippers, where they had all the weapons of the world to throw at him. He was still scoring 40 plus with like a 45% usage rate early in those series. In 2020, 4 of the first 5 went over. And then the next year, 2 of the first 3 went over before Ty Lue made adjustments and the Clippers were able to win that series. So, I mean, at the total, barely any higher than it was in game 1 here. I think you do like it. I'm really interested in these match total points parlays that FanDuel offers, which are really interesting because they don't move from where it opened at 215.5. Right. And then you can just go down. You can actually go all the way down to Suns money line and over 211. And still get plus odds. So you can choose any points, any total below 215, or go higher if you want Suns money line at 220. It's plus 220. So you can flex all over there. And I mean, I think that's what we're looking at as long as the Suns are home here, and as long as Booker's healthy. Look, they've gone over now in 11 of their last 15 playoff games, and the exceptions are when they held New Orleans under 100 twice in that last series. The game 1, and then when Book was out for one of those games, and then 2 games at Milwaukee in the finals, which is a completely different level of intensity. The Mavericks defense, while good, like I said, they don't stop what the Suns like to do. And they gave up 27% of those points in the mid-range. They did not rebound at all, 64% defensive rebounding rate, giving up 13 offensive rebounds to the Suns, who out-rebounded them by 15. Yeah. But clapping back on the other end with 120 offensive rating and outscoring the Suns by 10 in the fourth quarter to make sure you got points down the stretch. I think you also expect some positive regression from Luka's co-stars here. Even if he doesn't score 45 again, Brunson and Dinwiddie combined to shoot 37%, got only 21 points combined. And Luka consistently getting to the free throw line, got both Bridges and Crowder into foul trouble by doing that. So that could open the game up for them offensively if the Suns aren't able to stick Bridges on him all game. Not that he was able to stop him. Luka, clearly just one of the best playoff performers at a young age that we've seen in a while. And I think that's why you trust the points to keep flowing here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mikal spent most of his time on Luka, and Luka had 10 points in the roughly 7 minutes that he was guarding him. So, I mean, nobody's going to do much better than that right now for the Suns. And that's the thing too, by the way, it's a very individual defensive performance against Luka. I think Monty Williams he created a game plan that according to the way that he subbed and the way that his rotations worked in that game, etc. It seemed like it went exactly the way he wanted it to, which was, go ahead, Luka, like, go ahead, go for 45, 12 boards, get 8 assists in there. That's fine. We're not worried about that. We can score 121 on you guys. We're not scared of your defense, despite how good it was this season. And we're not scared of anybody's. When we have Devin Booker in there, who led the team in assists, fed Ayton the way that we talked about Ayton. Chris Paul only had 3 assists in this game because he was scoring and just sort of watching things materialize and making sure that he put guys in the right spot to either, score or he got the hockey assist from there. So it was a beautiful performance all around. Mikal tried his best on Luka, but like I said, there weren't double teams thrown at Luka at all. And it was really just like, no one else is going to have wide open shots off of you. Dorian Finney-Smith is Luka's go-to. And that was somebody that was in there, that he was diming up. And 15 points for Finney-Smith, getting to the line 4 times for him, the 6 boards you expect. I think you continue to expect a lot of that, about 20 points and rebounds combined kind of performances for him. And there might be some player prop opportunities there. But I think, you also look at the way that J Kidd tried to counteract what Phoenix was doing, and he just basically gave up on defense and was like, okay, Kleber, get in there and fire away from the corner. And we'll see if that works. Brunson going 6 for 16 was also pretty much by design. It was, like I said, Luka's going to be double teamed and Jalen's not going to get one-on-one matchups where he's going to be able to take his guy. And once again, DeAndre Ayton, he's not Rudy Gobert in terms of defensive player of the year down low, stuffing guys during the regular season. He's a better playoff center though, because he's not, you can't target him on switches. He can still move and stay in front of guys. He knows, he obviously knows the game plan well enough to know who he needs to come out on and who he can sag off of, which is all very impressive. So, really impressed with all of that. And then, I think that the last thing to think there for in terms of the offense for the Mavs is, if Kleber's going to be their only other X factor, who else do they have? And Spencer Dinwiddie played 30 minutes in this game and only gave them 8 points, and that's becoming a serious issue because he's not a defensive liability. He can guard guys too. It'd be nice to have him on the floor, but he's not putting up buckets in a way that he's able to play off of Luka. And that trade is now looking a lot worse. It seems like it was really just for having Dinwiddie as a backup to Luka when Luka wasn't able to play, rather than someone who can play alongside Luka, or at least J Kidd just hasn't figured out how to use him alongside Luka anymore in these playoffs. And that's becoming, I think, a huge issue for them because that's their third scorer. And if they don't have that, there's no other guy that can create their own shot against this Phoenix defense, which, like I said, is not going to be doubling guys. It's just going to continue switching with all 5 of their really good defenders and play to that extent. So yeah, I'm not feeling great about maybe any more unders in this series. But I think it's time to feel good while we're here in Phoenix about those overs. Based on the fact that, like I said, they're going to let Luka get his. He might get plenty of 30-point triple doubles, and I think they still feel good about getting their 120, 115, let's say, each time that they're out.
Yeah, that's it right there. I mean, they're not going to double Luka, and then that makes it tough for all these other guys who are just mostly 3-and-D guys. Aside from Brunson, Dinwiddie can create a shot a little bit, but they've just thrived off Luka drawing 2 and then hitting them with a pinpoint pass in the corner. And if that's not available, the Mavs are in trouble in terms of keeping pace, but Luka can get 45, 50 and make sure you do keep pace, which is why we still like the over there, but why the Suns, are going to have to keep up. They're going to be under pressure offensively to maintain that efficiency, which they have. Like I said, especially at home, they've been consistent scoring the basketball. You said kind of in the middle of the season, like, are the Mavs a really good defense, or are they just a pretty good defense that plays really slow, limiting things? And that seems to be what we're seeing here. I mean, it's a lot easier task to contain Donovan Mitchell and the backup singers, to just throw DFS on him and try to deny that penetration, be able to help off Rudy and try to scramble back to avoid that, than it is to contain a well-coached 5-man team that moves the ball hyper efficiently and has a coach on the floor as well in Chris Paul. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a masterclass in terms of how to orchestrate an offense. Like you said, Chris Paul not even necessarily being the one to throw the passes, but just kind of showing, his basketball mind, orchestrating everything. And Luka still not there as a playmaker yet, but very much there in terms of able to get his own. So I think I'm going to stick by that Suns money line and over. They did go over 34 and 20 on normal rest pretty consistently, and 41 and 27 to the over after a win. When they start to get rolling, that offense is good to watch, and it's a pretty low total for them considering who they're going up against in terms of a superstar who can score on the other end.
Yeah, 100%. And one other point I wanted to make about, Dallas sort of going to the offensive lineup and just saying, okay, go ahead, get in there, Maxi Kleba, even giving Bertans about 8.5 minutes in the game just to see if they could get any offense out of him as well. He did hit a 3, but that was the same case for Phoenix, who played Cam Johnson 24 minutes in this game, despite Book being there, right? Where normally Cam's playing. I mean, that's around hit the minutes that he plays, maybe a few less when Booker's in the lineup. But they went to him in this one where he was hot, as obviously is why they kept him in there. He was shooting 6 for 10 from the field. But they kept out, Torrey Craig only played about 2 minutes in this game, 3 minutes. And like I said, Cam Johnson even came in and ate up a little bit of Jay Crowder's minutes, who played under 30 in this game, just because, he wasn't a liability on defense, and it really didn't matter at that point. Because like I said, there's one guy running around chasing Luka, unless they get a switch. And then other than that, everyone else just stands on their guy who's standing around the 3-point line waiting for, like you said, that 3-and-D kick out from Luka. So I think that the offense can continue to be fine for Dallas. I think if Phoenix wants to play at the pace they do at home, and like we said, like you said, great call to continue. Like, I think feeling good about the offense in this game. Maybe by the time game 4 hits, maybe even game 3. I think game 3 Luka comes out hot too, but maybe in game 4 is when you start to look at things slowing down. Luka getting tired from having to carry this offense from 3 games in a row and getting beat up by this defense at all turns, and that's where you start to feel like the points might decrease a bit in this series, and definitely Luka's points and props might decrease a bit. But game 2, I don't think is the one that we're calling for that to happen just yet. So anyway, that is all the time that we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us as we bring you each and every playoff game with a video, as well as these player props videos we have up for you as well. And until we see you next, happy betting.